key discussions in the BRICS Head of State Summit next week will be around energy. You know, of course, all about our electricity problems. The BRICS Summit will see the leaders of the biggest energy producers and some of the biggest energy consumers in the world, all in one room. Dr. Zwanani Mathe is the CEO of the South African National Energy Development Institute. Dr. Mathe, good afternoon to you, and thank you for your time. So we'll see India, China and Russia all in the same room next week. All of them produce and consume huge amounts of energy. They do it in different ways. I would imagine these countries are all key to the international energy transition that we're seeing.
Yeah, good afternoon, Stephen, and good afternoon to your listeners. You are correct. I think we're very privileged, Stephen. Next week, we're going to see quite a lot of experts coming from Brazil, coming from Russia, coming from India, coming from China, discussing, and the main issue really on the table is energy security, as you correctly pointed out.
India and China both use a huge amount of coal. India uses a lot of alcohol, actually, to produce the electricity. They're also moving towards greener renewable energy. Are we seeing BRICS countries working together to do that?
Yeah, I think the platform of BRICS, the members of BRICS, Stephen, it's an excellent platform. I think the cooperation that we are seeing between Russia, India, China, South Africa, Brazil, I think they all bring different competencies. You know, as you know, Brazil is very competent in biofuels and renewable energy. India, as you correctly pointed out, very excellent in clean coal technologies as well as renewable energy. And Russia has experts in nuclear technologies. And of course, South Africa, you know, the experiences that we've gone through with the just energy transition as well. We've got something to offer to the BRICS member countries.
One of the things that we probably all need research on is new grids. So the grids of the future are going to be quite different to the sort of coal-driven grids of the past. Is that something we can work on together?
Yeah, absolutely. I think India, as you may know, they've actually rolled out quite a large program on their transmission infrastructure. So we can learn quite a lot from what India is doing. And also Brazil. Brazil is now one of the leading players in deploying wind energy. And you know, wind energy is interruptible. So we can learn quite a lot from what Brazil has also done. China, another very, very good country that we can learn from in terms of how we can modernize our grid to cater for the interruptible renewable energy that we are planning to deploy as a country.
What kind of programs do we have in place at the moment? As I understand it, there are one or two projects that where members of BRICS countries are already working together. I mean, we need to build on those.
Yeah, so there's quite a number of areas that we are looking at. The main one really is the energy security. The country, South Africa, is going through a very difficult time at this point in time. So we are tapping into their expertise to see what we can do in the country to address the energy crisis that we are faced with. The second area is skills. We need to develop our skills rapidly to cater for the transition that is upon us. Then there's also opportunities for manufacturing. China in particular, they are very big in manufacturing the renewable energy components. So as a country, we can tap into their capabilities and bring maybe some of those manufacturing capabilities to South Africa so we can establish our own industries so that we don't keep on importing a lot of these components that are required for renewable energy going forward.
Could some countries lose out? So we have a lot of coal. We export some of that to India and to China. Russia has a huge amount of oil. Could some countries lose out if we don't use fossil fuels so much in the future?
I don't see it that way, Stephen. I think South Africa, as you know, our energy mix, it caters for all technologies, nuclear, coal, renewable energy, biomass, etc., into the future. So the IRP that is currently under review at the moment, up to 2030, there's still going to be quite a lot of coal in our energy mix. The same applies to the other countries, by the way. The same applies to India. The same applies to China. The same applies to Russia. The same applies to Brazil. So there is no loser at this cooperation of the BRICS countries, Stephen, the way I see it.
Dr. Zwanani Mathe, thank you. The CEO of the South African National Energy Development Institute. Do appreciate the time. Energy, one of the big discussions next week.